This video segment begins to examine the direct effects of rising carbon dioxide (CO2) concentrations on organisms, especially plants. It explains aspects of plant environmental physiology in detail, an emphasis that reflects the research interests of Bloom the botanist. A subsequent segment discusses CO2 sensing in organisms ranging from plants and fungi to insects. Future segments focus on responses of organisms to changing temperature, precipitation, salinity, and pH, as well as overall changes in the population sizes of certain species. The major points of the segment are: number 1, rising CO2 levels are associated with decreasing oxygen levels. Number 2, the atmospheric composition anticipated by the end of the century will profoundly influence plant life, but will not cause respiratory distress in humans. Number 3, carbon dioxide enrichment in the short term stimulates C3 carbon fixation, the biochemical pathway by which all photosynthetic organisms generate stable, energetic compounds such as sugars. Number 4, some plant species have developed a CO2 pumping mechanism known as C4 carbon fixation. Number 5, interactions among C3 and C4 carbon fixation and climate change will determine where food is grown. Living organisms and climate have an intimate relationship. Organisms as major sources and sinks of greenhouse gases are important factors forcing climate change. Conversely, changes in climate often bring about the rise and fall of organisms. It is in our own best interest, therefore, to elucidate how anticipated changes in climate will influence the biosphere, the living portion of Earth, and humans in particular. Atmospheric concentrations of carbon dioxide have risen from about an average of 0.027% in pre-industrial times to 0.038% at present, and will reach between 0.05 and 0.1% by the end of the century. These concentrations exceed any that have occurred during the last 20 million years. Direct effects of such changes on organisms can be profound. Do not despair! You are not in danger of suffocating from rising carbon dioxide levels. The atmospheric carbon dioxide concentrations anticipated during this century are only a small fraction of those that cause respiratory distress. Human beings suffer loss of mental acuity at carbon dioxide concentrations between 2 and 7.5%, loss of consciousness between 5 and 10%, and loss of life between 20 and 30%. Processes that alter atmospheric carbon dioxide concentrations generally produce nearly equal but opposite changes in atmospheric oxygen concentrations. Computer models, GCMs, based on the ratios between oxygen and carbon dioxide fluxes predict that atmospheric oxygen concentrations will decrease in the future, but this will not leave people gasping for breath. Seasonal oxygen oscillations are a mere 0.003%. on a background of 20.946%. This decline in average oxygen concentrations from 1993 to 2003 of about 25 parts per million is smaller than you experience in an elevator when it ascends 1 or 2 floors. On top of Mount Everest, where everybody gasps for breath, oxygen concentrations are about 7%.